The idea for the Monster Hunter show came up in a story conference we had here in Northampton, and we're talking about doing a story with monsters, and the idea that it would be kind of interesting if one or more of the turtles were mistaken for a monster by someone who was trying to make their name as a monster hunter. It just seemed like a perfect match, and now that the turtles were in Northampton out in the woods, it was a perfect setup for that kind of story.
What a smart thing you are! What a smart green man monster! Yeah! Can we keep him?
I do have quite a great fondness for monster movies, especially giant creature movies. I've always been fascinated with the dinosaurs, which are probably the original giant creatures, and I found the movies that feature giant monsters or creatures to be almost always enjoyable.
Huh? Ah! The Green Man? He's real?
In the Monster Hunter episode, the B story is the Leo moping around and being very depressed. And that really is a result of his humiliating defeat at the hands of the Shredder and his minions. Leo is probably Splinter's most hardworking student. He wants to be as good as he possibly can be. And when he's defeated in this way, it's very, very much of a downer for him. It's interesting. Raph is sensitive enough to Leo's need to be supported that he comes through, he steps up and helps him out in his own inimitable fashion.
I know exactly what you should be doing, and I think you do too.
I think Raphael is a tough guy, but he has a soft heart. He may fight with Leo a lot and disagree with his take charge of the group attitude, but he respects him and he loves him. They're very close.
Allow me to introduce you to Leonardo, new and improved.
One of the neat things about this new series is, while there are differences between the comics and the show, the core elements, which I think of as basically the Turtles and Splinter and their relationship, is almost exactly the same. And I think that's one of the things that is so great about this new show, because that's the heart of the whole concept, that family.
Yeah!
A lot of what goes on in adapting the comics to the show is, we're looking at the whole story arc that we've set up and trying to determine which of the comics will fit and which elements of each issue of the comics will fit. It's really a process of elimination. We know that there are some key elements to this Turtles backstory that we should draw elements from the comics for, but we take those and then we kind of mix and match and fill in and create new stuff that enriches the story and also helps to blend those elements from the original, maybe tweak them, bend them a little bit to fit the slightly different story that we're telling in the new series. Return to New York is a key three-parter in this whole story arc that we set up in the first season. It really is a culmination of a lot that has come before, a lot of the hints we've dropped, story bits we put in, and it really sums up the whole season.
Bring it on!
The Turtles' decision to go back to New York and confront the Shredder is an interesting one because it is a real evolution of their approach to life. We started out showing them as they are generally. They want to live their lives in secret, hidden, and if they can avoid confrontation, they will. They only deal with it when it shows up in their face. And when they decide to return to New York to confront him, it is a big step forward for them. It's sort of saying, we're ready to come out and speak for ourselves. And this is when they are able to come and strike back and to regain what they've lost.
We're gonna be a 4-turtle wrecking crew.
5.
I think Splinter chooses to go with the Turtles on their return to New York to confront the Shredder once and for all, because he feels, just as the Turtles do, that the Shredder has become a real menace to them and needs to be dealt with. They can't hide from him forever. And even more so, Splinter feels that he owes his master Yoshi a debt of honor because of what the Shredder did to him years ago.
He who lives without honor will end without honor.
I will finish you myself.
The assault on the castle, if you will, is always a neat storytelling device. And we had the Turtles and Splinter invade the Shredder stronghold, and they're faced with all kinds of different, very difficult foes to beat.
Hey, Donnie, got anything in your bag of tricks to deal with this?
The Shredder's interest in genetic engineering is, it's just basically one more way that he is exploring the avenues to power. He's willing to do almost anything. When the Turtles invade this skyscraper, they come up against some really, really dangerous, weird foes, the Foot Mystics, and they almost lose it right there. I find the mysticism quite intriguing. I find a lot of it totally unbelievable. But definitely for storytelling purposes, it can be wonderful. We all like a scary story, and these guys are very creepy. You know, they're very mysterious, very scary characters, and I think they work really well for the storyline.
There must be some way to fight fire with fire! Or magic with magic.
I think that the Turtles work well in almost every storytelling environment, and I really look forward to doing more stuff with them in a supernatural story situation. So I think that's definitely coming down the pike.
What is this?
Baxter Stockman has certainly gone through quite a few changes in the course of season 1. His relationship with the Shredder has, I think, devolved to a point where he still sees the value in working for the Shredder, but he's also quite bitter about the way he's been treated. He decides, over the course of time, to rebel and take revenge on the Shredder. And we see the dramatic upshot of that in the Return to New York arc, when Baxter Stockman returns with a vengeance in a new form that no one was expecting.
Kiss your shells goodbye, freaks!
The Shredder has a curious blind spot with Stockman. He recognizes his genius as brilliance and his ability to take existing technology and adapt it for all these nefarious purposes. And that blinds him to the fact that Stockman is an incredible egotist and desirous of power himself, but the Shredder is willing to overlook that for the benefits that Stockman's genius can bring him. And it almost contributes to his ultimate downfall.
The time has come for you to be re-educated in my brilliance!
One of the most shocking moments in this first season was in the last episode of the Return to New York arc, when Leo and the Shredder confront each other and have this great battle, which ends with the Shredder being decapitated. You see his head leave his shoulders, fall to the ground, and his body topples over. And then the weirdest thing happens. We see this headless body get up, pick up his head, and walk off. It's like, what the heck's going on there? And it is mysterious, but I think we'll find out the reason for it in the second season.